This morning, on my way to the woods, through the singing of the bird, I know you are there, free on a green path. There are buds, flowers, and tiny leaves waving to space. The hand that holds the baton of the talented artist conducts the world of sound. All sounds return to this one point of great silence, this point of great emptiness. Before we come to the page, before the first word is ever written down or read or listened to, there is a longing to connect. My name is Charlie Mehrhoff, your host here at Before the Page, a podcast featuring poetry, parable, fiction, and words to echo our longing. Listeners, welcome to this special Friends and Heroes episode of Before the Page, where we will give breath to the writings of friends and heroes, heroines, brave people of the word, lovers of truth, the power of truth, and the longing to connect. And this bright warning: this will not be our last Friends and Heroes episode. There will be more. Today's episode, you will hear from Rabia, Maria Berardi, Sabine Miller, Jerry Smaldone, Thich Nhat Hanh, and Scarecrow. Yours truly. Let's get into it right now with some Rabia. Rabia al-Basri. Her words come to us from Basra, Iraq, from the 8th century. Many consider her the first female Sufi saint. Reality. In love, nothing exists between heart and heart. Speech is born out of longing. True description from the real taste. The one who tastes knows. The one who explains lies. How can you describe the true form of something in whose presence you are blotted out, and in whose being you still exist, and who lives as a sign for your journey? We continue on with Sabine Miller, That Bird, after Rumi. Everyone speaks at once the moment the wine starts flowing. Let me drink the silence wine. There's a thrush who says more in one refrain than I've thought up in 30 years of human language. If I can't marry that bird, I'll happily sleep alone. Table for one, the peacock feathers eye. Also, with Sabine, Meditation Garden. I'm trying to concentrate. All those dead masters sit nowhere in a circle, laughing and shaking their heads. Now we'll go to heaven with Sabine. Heaven. Outside, a pandemonium of gulls. The ice cream man broadcasts his saccharine pitch. Bottles rattle in a tottering shopping cart. I am trying to concentrate. The neighbor hammers and saws and drills and hammers. Your life is not your life. I put down my pen and open my ears. those pearly gates. That line the poetess wants you to know, your life is not your life, comes from Rumi. This comes from a wonderful collection, Cassandra Gifts, Poems by Maria Berardi. Passage. Go, fascinated into that blinking void, moth wings feathering the adored bright oblivion. That long moment as heartbeat ceases, that long dropping of adornments, that careless slipping into invisibility. Swallow death as it swallows you, a great craw of blackness, a fairy tale spindle within, a maw that's a factory, as the machines bellow their stopping. Sustain in that blinding terror, that flailing, that crashing directionlessness, despite the last clutchings at oxygen and images. Hold fast as you let go, as you are let go into the holy zero, baptized in dazzling darkness. And another poem by Maria Berardi, Knowledge. Our bodies are our knowledge, as definite as the chalk outline on asphalt, as dense as the shadows of Hiroshima. Here in my hand, it is mutilated, it is rose petals, it is votives burning, my two hands are messenger birds. Here are my ears, fleshy shells, scooping the telegraphic tapping of the world, open and maze-like leading to the labyrinth within. Here is my hair, something else altogether, some seaweed lifted from the water's body, some broom to whisk away sorrow. And here is my core, from clavicle to pubic nest, nipples like teardrops, and the good shelf of hip-pass curve of waist. As our minds sputter and flow from our vibrant clutch of nerves and neurochemicals, so I tell you, this knowing, this poem, flashes from our bodies, springs from our pulses and plasma pushing, arises from our depths, heavy, sweet as milk, light, salt as tears. One more from Cassandra Gifts, Poems by Maria Berardi, Paradise, for Catherine. Don't fear. I tell you, when you die, your heaven will be all your moments again, engrossing, endless. Again, the sweet desirelessness of becoming in the womb. And then the gut-stuffing ecstasy of warm milk after the shock of birth, of light. Again, the addled imaginings of childhood with the gift and test of consciousness. Again, your first damp-smelling, stargazing night. And your first dive into the mineral cold of lake water. And this time you will see with the vision of radiance. I mean to say, you will know the atoms jangled cha-cha, even as you feel what we call heat. Truly, your fingertips will bloom out leaf buds like cat's paws. You will become everything in its specificity. We will inhabit each moment as God fills empty space. We will feast on each memory with the fabulous abandon of eating mangoes, bare feet on smooth wood, rib cage bumped over the sink. Slimy, piney peach flesh filling our mouths, drips dawdling down our necks, sundrops, raindrops tongued, tasted through to resin. We now go to another Colorado poet, Jerry Smaldone, from a collection called Fatto e Mano. Illumination -1. There is something inside us that keeps the animal down. Something that loves again when bloom bites and sighs wither. That crawls out of its hole and lies quiet in the sunlight, content to just breathe, almost surprised that love has not killed it, that the folly of jammed egos and betrayal of self has not torn soul from flesh and pinned it to the shadows where it can never experience the present again. And this realization is only the beginning. Before instinct and survival, before the stars' birthing moans, this dream life but a moment sustained by a granite will, greater than our own, propelled by what spirit we do not know, cannot touch, our real self, origin lost in the magic that gives life to all things. I open my eyes. I am the homesick boy in a settler's wagon bumping down Broadway. The peddler belting his accented song, the sad-eyed silk girl marooned in grubby men, the starched collar calling for Injun scalps, the wary eyes of red men staring from immortal hills, knowing all is lost. We are the flowing mystery, driven from invisible source to hidden harbor of the heart, beyond sadness and revenge. We change, move on. We are the river. We live what we do not know. We change and remain the same. We are spirit that dares to live. We are human. Now, again, that was the fabulous Jerry Smaldone from Fatto e Mano. Again, with Jerry Smaldone, creative destruction. I kick dirt onto my grave, dream a flower of love that will carry me to heaven when I die. There are holes dug all over, erupting with golden light. Wheat heads gone to seed. I cannot tell if this is the end or a beginning. These are the worlds I have created out of my desire. These are the children I have bore through the pain. I close my eyes and see the vulture behind the future. It is time to meet all the people I have known in countless lives. The voices of the stars sing like a children's choir, echoing in my blood. A crystal heart unlocked in time. I can see the light must be uncovered. Layers of earth, of rock and plant and dirt, of lies and ignorance and need. I see the silver thread I walk just keeps going on and on into a never-ending soul. Rows of sisters stand above us, waiting, praying. We'll let things be. Let the water flow. Let the old and ready die. There is something inside that knows, that listens to the heartbeat pounding from far out in space, to suck the nectar from flowers of heaven, to create new worlds from a sea of glittering mind, to dance with destiny, holding wonder to our breast, to be reborn eternal, alive, all at once. Also from Jerry's Fatto e Mano, Entanglement. Is it so strange that we are forever connected that we know that things do not really matter? Let them steal, let them sow, let them steal, as long as they do not steal your soul. Stripes mix with squares, angels with devils, fish with fowl. Constant prayer keeps the world afloat. I don't know how. Seeds rise from the ground as leaf, then flower, then fruit. Rainbows blur the meaning of tornadoes' howling pitch. Prepare your soul, this vehicle that will drive you through the anger that tears your heart to pieces, that will carry you through the storms that torment your dreams. This next piece is entitled West. It comes from a collection, Words to Light Eternity, by Charlie Mehrhoff. West. The river begins and ends with the life that drinks from it. Game-crested slopes, slopes abundant, the odor of the soil when she is first kicked up by a light rain, the pronghorn as they prance before sheets of oncoming rain, pines in the mist, even more so, muddy tracks crossing clusters of geodes, edge of tracks laced with pollen, granite peaks temporal, granite wind, pebbles blowing backward off of the horizon, last year's seed, the bellies of geese, each blade of grass, each tender shoot, destined to become a messianic bride. This also from Words to Light Eternity. Choice. Had a talk with God last night. This was his offer. All my sins forgiven, all my debts paid. Everyone I ever hurt, reborn and made to feel clean. No more pain for my eyes, bulldozers and tanks rust into anthills. Nothing more ever dreamed of or manufactured to melt the skin. Hunger, not even a word. Only one language. Love. Yeah. All this, or I could have stars on my boots. And you should see them, babe. Everyone wants a pair. This comes from a collection of poetry, Call Me by My True Names, the collected poems of Thich Nhat Hanh, Brother Tay. This is entitled Apparition. It was written in Paris in 1966. Being young is like sweet sunshine flooding the summer sky. Quiet noon. Years and months are just the expressions of earth. Why take note of the never-ending seasons? This piece is entitled Silence. Also in the collection Call Me by My True Names. The paper smells wonderful as I turn the pages of this ancient book. The water in my glass smiles to me with crystal eyes. Suddenly, oceanic waves come up one after another with their foamy heads. A cold stone summons the fog up on the distant mountain where the wind is howling hard. I wake up. The tip of my tongue is frozen by the dewdrops that have been sent to me by a blade of grass on a late night. Light flashes across like the blade of a sword. Perhaps it is the beginning of a storm. Clouds rise very quickly From the east, urgently, the sound of the horns is calling. Where is my palm leaf raincoat of years ago? The winds are chasing after the leaves, the lines and strokes your brush used to trace are brown, the color of your arm, the sweat that penetrates the rice field. In this moment, our planet is lost somewhere in the unknown, and the giant bird is shaking its wings in outer space. Space in puddles is splashing. Space is exploding. There is a sun struggling up and down in the ocean like a giant fish with enormous red eyes. My telephoto lens is trying to catch the images of prehistory. Look, the door is just unlocked, and the future is let free. For many lives, the door has prevented the future from fleeing. This morning, on my way to the woods, through the singing of the bird, I know you are there, free on a green path. There the buds, flowers, and tiny leaves waving to space. The hand that holds the baton of the talented artist conducts the world of sound. All sounds return to this one point of great silence, this point of great emptiness. There is too much light for a baby just entering life. I see now our grandmother, with her hair tied behind her head in the form of an onion. She is sweeping bamboo leaves. She begins to gather the leaves into a pile and burn them. The smoke is rising, warming up the sky. The Buddha smiles behind a thin cloud. Tonight, the moon is full. We're going to end this Friends and Heroes edition of Before the Page with a piece composed by the reader entitled A Farewell of Sorts. It is clear I cannot saw through this yoke with the blade that I purchased at the local hardware store. So much is required to live more than just a life, to rise above the mere comforts, the defined luxuries. So harsh at times with the likes of heat, ice, war, and starvation. There being too few tombs left to rob, shades of gravity, mother's milk gone dry, ever-flowing blood of the Lamb. Yet with stringed instruments and visions of angelic bliss occasionally rising out of it, skimming through life between the waters, whirling across private property lines, walking away, lines of the puzzle fading, without even the echo of God whistling out of the side of my face. Again, thank you so very much for listening to this episode of Before the Page. If you would like to get in touch with us, it's easy enough. Just go to beforethepage@gmail.com. Before the Page, just like it sounds, @gmail.com. Until the next, be well.